I'm going to give you a quick tutorial of how to use the TissueLyser and its accessories. So first, turn on the TissueLyser in the back right corner. And then there's a few buttons up top. You can change the frequency, you can change the time, and you can start and stop. Let's make it a little more interesting. In order to load the TissueLyser, you have to use two different plates. You can either use two plates for 24 samples, and these hold 24 individual tubes like this, or you can use two plates for 96, which holds two plates like this. In order to load the tubes, what you're going to do is you're going to take these adapters and have a sandwich. So you have one that's labeled with a number and one that isn't. This one, the bottom is the thinner and the top is thicker. And then the inside is symmetric, so you can load it either way. So you load it inside the bottom plate, and then you load your tubes inside. So you can load, these are your tubes with the beads. So you can load one tube with 24. If you're going to load a second tube, you're not going to put it next to each other. You want to balance it, so you're going to put it on the other side. So you want to use corners, opposite corners. Then load your plate on top. And now make sure that your plate has the circles at on the same side. For example, you certainly don't want to load it like this. Okay. And you're going to take this sandwich and load it onto the TissueLyser. So let me zoom in better. In order to load a plate, you're going to put it in with the circles facing the back. For example, you can't load it in wrong. This way, it just won't fit. Now, it doesn't matter if the number 24 is on the outside or on the inside, as long as it fits properly. So you're going to load it, make it sit flush, and then tighten it in place. Now, you're going to want to be careful to make sure that you're not loading it wrong. For example, right now, this seems tight, but notice that the circle is not sitting in properly on either side. So you want to make sure, release that, make sure it's sitting flush, and then tighten it. You might hear this crank as you're tightening it, and that's just fine. And you want to hand tighten it, you don't want to over tighten. Always make sure to balance both sides. You want to get another sandwich ready. Load it the same. And once you've got both loaded, you can close the lid and hit start. If you need to stop the process, if the protocol says to flip it in the middle, what you're going to do is take the plate out, turn it this way, and what this does is the tube that's sitting on the outside is now going to be on the inside. So you just rotate, tighten again, and run. In order to get the plate off, note that this locking mechanism is what makes the cranking sound. If you try to unlock, it tightens. So what you want to do is loosen this, just turn it sideways, and now you can get your plate out. Okay. I'm going to show you the 96 well plates and some of the adapters that we have. So the 96 well plate is actually our microtubule plate, and it's got this lid. You're going to get rid of the lid in order to process. And now you want to put, for example, a steel bead into every well before you load your samples. So there's two ways to do that. You can use the basically a pipetter, and there's this is for 5mm beads. There's another one for 3mm, and you can load your beads in this hole, and then you just pipette one at a time. The other option is to get the 96 well dispenser. This is either for 3mm beads or 5mm beads. And what you'll do is load it directly on top of your plate. Pour your beads into here and then move this sideways. And what this does is make sure that only one bead can fit into every single hole. And then You squeeze this button here on the side, and what it does is it opens up the holes so that exactly one bead is going to fall through into the plate underneath. When loading the 96 well plate, you want to, for examples, now you're going to put your samples inside. You're going to get rid of this lid, but what you are going to do is use collection microtubule caps. And then you're going to use these caps to seal in your samples. So for example, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have the caps. And then again, just like the 24 well plate, the 96, it has, this way, no number and a number and different widths. So the bottom holds the plate, the top goes over the lids, and again, you want to make sure the sandwich is right, and then you're going to load 2 96 well plates onto the TissueLyser at a time. And that's everything.